Brocast is back, baby.
This Brewcast episode is brought to you by the Brewcast Store. Explore a store filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with Brewcast. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Visit now brew-cast.com/store. Link below.
Back with the fire, can't you see the flames? From Deutschland steps comes the Brewcast name. Voices like thunder breaking all the chains. Unleash the fury like a runaway train.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another Brewcast episode. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast recommends to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. Brewcast also on Instagram, X, and TikTok, where I upload shorts with the highlights of the show. So follow now, Brewcast on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Links in the description below.
Here we thrive, we survive!
Hey there, Brewcast fans, welcome back to another Brewcast episode. If you want to participate in our next month's giveaway, all you have to do is comment, like, and subscribe. You're gonna be then running to win something. One of you will win something out of the Brewcast store, either a cap, either a mug, I don't know, it's a surprise, but it's a worldwide giveaway, so no matter where you are in the world, just make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and you're gonna be participating. We're gonna announce the winner at the end of this month. So right now it's September 2025. Tune in the channel, go into the live tabs. You're gonna have the announcement for the winner at the end of this month, September 2000. Did it say 2027? I don't know. 2025. Whatever I said is 2025 this year. All right, so that's the giveaway. Let's talk about the channel sponsor. All right, parents. Have you been searching for an app that's both fun and educational for your kids? I've got something exciting to share with you. It's called FunTastic Plus. FunTastic Plus is a free app where education meets entertainment. Designed specially for children aged 2 to 12, it's built by experts, completely ad-free and totally safe. So you can feel confident handing your phone or tablets to your little ones. Inside the app, kids will find a world of engaging content. Their favorite cartoons, audiobooks and songs to spark imagination, educational games that make learning fun, all of that to keep them entertained while supporting their development. FunTastic Plus is available on iPhones and iPads right now and even works offline, so whether you're on a road trip, flying, or just at home, your kids will always have something to enjoy. So if you're ready to give your kids a space that's both fun and educational, download now FunTastic Plus for free on the App Store. FunTastic Plus, a safe and ad-free educational platform for kids. Link on the description below. All right, thank you so much, FunTastic Plus. FunTastic Plus is our channel sponsor, so go check it out. And without further ado, let's welcome our special guest. So his name is Peter Gunn. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great, Peter. Thank you so much for being a guest. I'm happy to get to know you. I'm eager to get to know more about your story. So what about start from there? Who are Peter Gunn?
Well, I've been called a polymath. I've been called a Renaissance man. I do numerous things, okay? I'm a very disciplined person. You could say as soon as I wake up in the morning, I hit the ground running. You know, I'm a bodybuilder, avid health and fitness advocate. I'm a poet, writer, author, and a musician as well. And we recently just came out with our first album. I joined together with a group of musicians from Germany as well, you know, just coincidentally. And we put out our first album.
Yeah, it's amazing. I heard it today. The Angellics, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And it's pretty good, man. So how long have you been playing the guitar?
About 5 years. Yeah.
Dude, that's what it takes. You're a professional. It was like, I would imagine that you've been playing for your whole life.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I practiced intentionally to make metal, you know, okay. Whereas a lot of people start with classics I didn't. I actually started on a riff, and I went from there. So it was very intentional to make metal music, even though like there is some classical music that I do like, but metal has always been my love, especially from the 80s.
Were you bummed when Ozzy died? That was something.
Yeah, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did, honestly. I mean, if there's even 50% of the rumors about him and the drugs are true, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. Yeah.
I heard rumors, I don't know how real that is, that his DNA was different, that he was able to recycle. I don't know the correct term. There's the terms. I would say recycle the drugs and all the booze from the prior nights of partying like faster than anyone else. And that's but the bad part about his DNA is that he would also get more addicted to those drugs. I don't know, man. Rumors. I don't know. The guy
Perhaps that's his rationale to why Keith Richards is still around then.
Yeah. Who knows? Or Ozzy was a vampire, but I don't know. Everything is on the table. So, Peter, how come? I'm very curious. How come do you guys release an album while like you're in the US? Some of your bandmates are in Germany. Like they're all around the world. How do you guys do that?
Well, okay, let me start. It started with, when you're an entrepreneur, you're always looking to rebrand yourself and put yourself back out there, reinvent yourself. Okay. Basically. So it started out with me getting a meeting with my producer / director, Andrea Giordani, and to revamp my Amazon's audiobook. We were going to make it into a movie. Okay, basically. So you could sit down and it would sound like you're listening to a movie. All the sound effects. We had about 30 voice actors hired to do the job, and it's still in work right now. But I also decided to do a soundtrack for it. Okay, in other words, then I had to go look for a band, and I started looking at Upwork.com. And of course, there's always hit or miss. There's a lot of no thank you, or the people try out, and then and they won't quite fit the bill. So I did find one, and his name was Leo, and he's a singer, and he's like, hey, I know these other guys, and they just all happen to be in Germany at the same time. Okay, and long story short, they had a guitarist that we weren't seeing eye to eye. I wasn't seeing eye to eye with him. Okay. Ooh. I said, hey guys, let's just cut it. Our losses here. It was great working with you. Let's just stop and we'll go on our own ways. Okay. And I was about to walk away. And then they basically said, screw him. Hey, let's have you come on, because I told them, I could do guitar. And I could do better than him. I wasn't happy with the product he was putting out. So apparently they were happy with what we were putting out with me, at the lead. And we decided to then make a band. Once we put out, like, for the soundtrack for my graphic novel and for the Amazons, we put about 10 songs. And then we decided to make the band and name it the Angellics, because it's connected to my NDE I had when I was a child, when I was 7.
NDE? What is that?
An NDE is a near-death experience.
Oh, boy.
So I had basically died, and then I came back. Yeah.
Did you meet an angel? What happened?
And yes. Well, okay, this happened in the early 80s. Okay, and I was given some tasks to do, and I'm going to say this. My parents were good parents. They just weren't around at the time to watch me. Okay. It was normal back then. Yeah. And when you're that young, I was about 7 years old, you don't know the signs of heat stroke coming on. You don't recognize them. You don't understand what it is. I remember feeling very tired. It was a particularly hot day. So I laid down in the sun and my body continued to cook, because I had a heat stroke coming on already, but it continued to cook and I passed. The next thing I remembered was waking up over my body, seeing myself, but in what people describe as their light bodies. So the best way I can describe it is the reverse of a black and white picture. You're made out of white light, but I was transparent. I could see through myself. And I immediately realized, okay, I guess I'm dead. Okay. Because I could see myself on the ground. Then I remember a tunnel forming above me with a white light at the end of it. And I me to start traveling up with. I mean, I didn't have much of a choice. I just started floating up. When I got to the end of the tunnel, there was what I perceived to be an angel there to meet me. And he gave me a review of my life, of what had happened. But because I was so young, it was very quick. It was very quick. But at the same time, time seemed to happen differently there. It was almost instantaneous in this, a snap of a finger almost. At least that's what it seemed like, And as soon as the life review was done, I was brought to a gate that I perceived to be the gate of heaven, because I could see it was on the other side. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. But there was another angel there that stopped us. And then when I looked up to see him, I immediately had a feeling of deja vu, like I knew him, but I can't still to this day, I don't know who it is or why I felt that way. But I felt like I knew him for some reason. And then he said, your job isn't done. You have to go back. And then the next thing I remember is waking up back in my body, paramedics hovering over me and reviving me. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So it was brief, but it was life-changing. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Dude. And it was so mind-blowing and stuck with you for so long that was that became the name of your band, the Angellics, basically. That's
yes.
okay.
Yeah, it's a tip of the hat to that angel that told me my job isn't done.
It's crazy. We had another guest on the show who also had a near-death experience, and she had a similar experience. It's crazy how so many people who had near-death experience, they relate this out-of-the-body looking down experience. So what do we make out of this? I mean, is it true? Because if we are all experiencing it, there's some fact to it, like what your opinion? Do you think it was really, do you think this really happened, or was like a trick of your brain?
There's a lot of books written about the subject, and there was one case that sticks in my mind that I read about. It was a person that had died in a hospital, and of course they were floating above their body looking down, but in such a position where they could see everything in the room. And someone had placed a sticker, I think it was like a Mystery Yuck sticker on the top side of a ceiling fan, and they could see it. But you can only see it from their position above, looking down. You would never know it was there. So when they came back, they said, yeah, there's a sticker on the ceiling fan on the top of the blade. And when we went to go look, it was there. But they never were up in that position. So how would they know that?
Oh my God.
And then there's other cases where people, when they were alive, they were blind. They're clinically blind their entire lives. So they never saw, okay? But then during the NDE, they saw. And they came back with these descriptions, like there was a young lady that had disabled friends, and one of her friends had a very distinctive limp through her walk. Okay. Now a blind person could have never seen her walk. Okay. But when she came back and said what she had seen, she described her walk to a T, and because she saw it, so there is something there. There's no doubt in my mind that we live after we pass. There's no doubt in my mind.
How much has your life changed after this experience? Did any of your habits changed?
My connections changed. Let's just say that. I mean, it's normal for people to come back with a lot of paranormal stuff happening, psychic stuff happening to them, and it happened to me too. Yeah. I was seeing things happen before they happened. I was seeing ghosts, both dark and light, and I became very much an empath. Like, if I even come close to anything malevolent or evil, I know it right away. So, and that's one thing that's been, as a guiding light to my entire life. If I come even close to anything that's seriously not in my best interest, I know it right away. Yeah.
Got it. Man, that's amazing. Like, I don't want to say you got superpowers, because I think that's not the right term for it. You just became more attuned to whatever is happening beyond our perception. And you know,
We all have those powers.
Yeah.
It's just that you haven't tapped into them yet.
I follow very closely all those UFO things and the craft retrievals, like claimed craft retrievals, and it's not like the Bigfoot or the monster from the Loch Ness. It's not like the rumors are declining. It's quite the opposite. They're going up. Like year after year, we have more reports, more whistleblowers coming out talking about the aliens and spacecraft and how we're not alone in the universe and how the government's trying to hide it all. And I think this year, last year, not long ago, there was this guy from he was a military guy, like top ranked military guy, who apparently had an experience with one of those crafts. And it was a psychic one, and his what he claimed is that the way those beings control those crafts and the way some humans can also control those crafts are through telekinesis, right? And you just mentioned, like, I had this experience when I was younger, and then my powers, quote unquote, start developing, and then we have those reports from those high ranked military guys. Like, I cannot deny to sense there's some seed of truth in all of this. We just don't know how to explore it more, you know. It's very interesting.
Well, they're hiding it because they don't want it out. They want the technology for themselves, and by they I mean the deep state or DARPA. Yeah.
Because they wanna, who controls this technology has an advantage at the war, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. And that sucks because I wanna see the aliens, man. If the government's hiding them, like, I don't see. There's this guy called Dr. Greer. Have you heard about him?
Yes, I know who he is. Yeah.
His whole approach is we talk to the aliens directly. We bypass the government. It has this whole how it's called again, something protocol that you meditate and you actually talk to the aliens. I never tried. I'm scared of it, to be honest. But
I meditate every day. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah? How has it been working for you?
Well, it helps to clear their mind, especially if you're a writer or any sort of a creator, you're a musician. It's crucial, honestly, to being creative. It helps you get in touch with your muse. Really, it does.
How so?
Well, it clears your mind because all of us have what the yoga instructors and meditation instructors call the monkey mind. You know, you have a lot of stuff going on there. It's like a monkey just going around and blah, 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 blah. And he's always talking, always talking. You have to, you learn how to deal with him properly. And I always think of it as you're walking under an overpass. So on top of the overpass is your monkey mind, is everything you have on your mind right now. You know, the stuff you have to do the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next year, and you know, the family problems. It's all sitting up there. But then you slowly start walking. You're walking, and you're not denying its existence. You're walking underneath it, and it's coming to the back of your mind now because you're walking forward under the overpass. It still exists back here, but now you can see clearer. And imagining it that way helps people a lot of times because you can't stop it. It's going to exist, but you have to see through it and push it to the side.
So what's the term that you used again? Monkey mind?
Monkey mind.
Monkey mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that be like the chatter that we all have in our minds all the time?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest. So you mentioned that we all have it, right? And I'm gonna be honest. I think this chatter or monkey minds just got louder and louder every year as those goddamn phones got bigger. We all addicted to technology. I don't know about your experience, Peter, but the more time I spend on TikTok, the more time I spend online, the louder the monkey mind is. Do you have a similar experience? Yeah, there you go. It's horrible.
Yeah, you have to set times to put it aside, you know, and be a human being. You know, go out, enjoy the sun, put your feet in the grass without being on your phone. Yeah.
We had I guess you recommended once every day during your lunch break, if you have the chance, just go outside, spend like half an hour, like near like a grassy area near you or in the nature. Like apparently this calms a lot the monkey mind. I tried a couple of times and it really helps. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I'll still use my phone sometimes, because a lot of times I'll use it to write like the next chapter in my book and things like that. So at least I'm doing something productive as well.
So you're also a writer, Peter.
Yes.
You write poesy, and you also write comics. I read one of them. It was pretty entertaining, but it's too short. You didn't send the whole thing. It was the one with there's the ninja. It was not a ninja. Like during the
Oh yes, Sigma Squad. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
It's still in work right now. We're going to make some revisions. It's going to be very taboo because it's going to take on a lot of things in society that nobody wants to talk about. So Satanism, pedophilia, human sacrifice, the control structure within the governments that no one wants to talk about or acknowledge exists are going to be shown in there. So it's going to be very taboo when it comes out.
Why would you do that? Why you're making a comic book about pedophilia?
No, it's not about. It's the fact that we have to acknowledge the fact that it exists in certain structures in humanity, okay? To sit there and blindly say, no, it doesn't exist, isn't going to fix the problem, okay? We need to acknowledge that it exists and realize how to deal with it. There's a lot of people out there, I call them Joe Sixpack, that if you hand them a Bible, they're not going to read it. I mean, they look at the thickness and they're like, no, I'm going to put it aside, because they don't know how to interact with that. They haven't read much in their lives. It's not necessarily their fault. It's just not their thing. Now, if you walk into a bookstore or a library even, look at the mega. Look at the graphic novel section. It's huge. People are to make it into a graphic novel / comic book style, because then I could put the message out and people will understand it, and they'll absorb it. They'll be willing to get into the story that's telling them the story. Yeah.
It's more digestible, would you say?
Or palatable. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're going to kill, let's just make things sure here. You're going to kill all the pedals, right? In the story.
I don't mind rustling things up and making, making people upset. I'm okay with putting a target on myself.
What I'm saying, you need to take the Quentin Tarantino approach. He always put Nazis in his stories, but then there's this cartatic. That's how you pronounce cartatic element. That you're just gonna burn them all. It's like, yeah, like there's some sense of justice in the story, and that's just me, right? I feel like the sense of justice, as Linda, at least at the ending, always give me like this some type of pleasure. I don't know, but that's just me.
Well, that's normal, because people want the hero's journey ending.
Yeah.
When you look at the cycle of the hero's journey, people want that ending. I mean, if you have submitted script to Hollywood that doesn't hit the right points in the hero's journey, they won't even look at it. Yeah.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think Hollywood in general, they are very afraid of innovating nowadays. All the movies that come out is like a sequel of a sequel of a sequel. Wasn't that, what was it again? Squid Game? Apparently Squid Game was written in the early 2000s, and it has been rejected for 25 years, 20 years. I don't know. It came out in 2000 during the pandemic, right? 2020, 22 years, like just rejection after rejection. Every big studio, they are afraid of getting out of the norm.
Well, they're losing money. They're going bankrupt slowly. It's basically, it's blatantly obvious. To me, it is. Their entire structure is gone. They're not making money like they used to. They don't have the control like they used to. The streaming platforms are the way to go now. If you want a movie made, submit it to Netflix. Yeah,
it's the way to go nowadays. But I think first Netflix needs to want you. That's the hard part.
Yes.
Yeah. They're also doing games now. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I had a buddy of mine here the other day, and he's just, Bruno, just open your Netflix app. They have games now. It's insane. So, Peter, you're a true artist, man. You have a band. You right? You write poesy. Poesy. Yeah. You're doing your comic book. Like by nature, you're an artist.
I guess I am. Yeah, I like to be called a creative or a poet. Is fine with me. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, do you do anything else? Oh, yeah, you served in the Air Force, right?
Yes. Yes. 20 years.
How was that? When did you realize that you actually want to become an artist and not pursue a career in the military?
Well, when I was very young, I've always had a passion to help humanity. And there's a time in my life when I actually considered becoming a priest. But then I soon became disenchanted with the Catholic Church, to say that. I saw it for what it was at a younger age. So I decided to not pursue that path, but still, in a way, find a way to give back to the humanity. So that's why I decided to serve in the military. I'm a patriot, but I also like to give back to others. So I saw it as a perfect way. It gave me a job, it gave me skills, and I enjoyed the entire 20 years. I wouldn't give it back for anything.
20 years, man. That's a lot. Like, I cannot even imagine. I'm a pussy, and didn't even went to the army, because the thing is, I'm from Brazil. And in Brazil, there's no wars, right? It's a completely different country. There's no wars. And they have something over there, at least in Brazilian Portuguese, they call it contingência. Can you translate that to English? Contingency? That's a word?
Contingency? Okay, yeah.
Is it a thing? I don't know. So they had a limit. They said, guys, we have so many people over here. We don't need anyone else. There's no reason to apply. Even though it's mandatory. It's mandatory. And I went there because it's mandatory. I said, bro, go home. Like, there's nothing for you to do here. And I'm gonna be honest, I wanted to just to have the experience, right? Especially when you're 18, you're in this age, you're full of hormones and testosterone. You just want to prove yourself. It's like, yeah, let's go. Worst thing that will have happen is I'm gonna have some fun and have some stories to tell. But they said, no, we don't need you. That's so.
I often look back at and say, choosing a path that's like the path of faith, it's often wrought with fear. If that fear exists, that's a sign that maybe, it might be the way to go, because that's usually the path of faith, the path that no one wants to take because they're afraid to. But it could change your life for the positive. It really can.
The path of fear is the path to take?
Yes, it is. It is. It's the path of faith. I often say that it's like imagine a rickety rope bridge and you can't see the bottom, okay? And there's a mist that's obscuring the other side, so you can't see either, but you still have to step out onto that bridge. Not many people will do that because they're scared. But that's the path of faith. As far as going and doing what God needs you to do, that's the path you have to take. If you're going to step out on that, that's what you have to do. There's no fear. It's popping out the path of faith. There's usually in front of you multiple decisions of paths you could take, A, B, and C, different roads. But that path is usually 180 degrees. So you have to reverse yourself and look behind you and then to see it. But follow your inner guidance. Follow your inner voice. If you're going to make a decision like that to join the military, make sure it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's far gone. I'm not doing it. But for those who might be thinking about it, so the path of fear is the path to take. Isn't that Jeff Bezos who said once that all anxiety stems from fear of not doing those things that you should be doing? Don't quote on me, guys. Don't quote that. But I think he said something like that. Yeah.
Well, you could live with the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You take the choice.
Wow. You can either live with the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You can literally make every single life choice based on this.
Yes, you can.
That's amazing, man.
Going to college, go take discipline, so you can make that choice. Yeah.
And that's something that I think a lot of people don't have, man. Discipline. It's consistency, in other words. And that's growth. That's the only way to grow. I went to therapy for a while, and she told me, Bruno, you're always moving here, moving there. You're like pursuing all of those things. Like, have you ever thought about just chilling a little bit, calming down? And otherwise, you cannot pursue things like you can pursue a lot of things, but you cannot grow, you know. And I thought about it. What was Yeah, there's this quote like the grass is greener in the garden that you water, not on the garden your neighbor. Something like that. I don't know where I'm going with this, Peter.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've heard that before. I know exactly what it means. Is you have to allow your grass to grow. You know, by you might put a couple of waterings on it, but you're walking away from it too soon.
Yeah. So when it comes to poetry, when it comes to writing a comic or music, which one do you say you're most engaged right now?
I would say right now it's the music because it's gotten the most attention and it's taking up the most of my time. I've had, it actually, I'm booked through November right now with interviews. So I'm going to have to start scheduling in December just because of the album. So it has been quite a ride. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's a really good album, guys. It's not a paid promotion, nothing like that. Just go check it out. I really like it. It's like heavy metal. It's like really good heavy metal. How is your writing process with the bandmates all across the world? Do you come with the lyrics? Or
yes, I wrote every song. If you listen to every song, I think that's one of the reasons why the other guys were so willing to take me on, is because they saw my talent in the songwriting process. Every song starts as a poem. I don't know if you ever have heard a song by a creative that it would sort of like someone scraping nails on a chalkboard. It's like, oh my goodness, that sounds awful, And it's usually not necessarily the melody, but it's the way the words and the melody interact. Okay, they're off. It's like, so they'll come up with the most beautiful melody, and you think, oh, that's great. But then when the vocals come in, the lyrics, the words, it's like trying to hammer a square peg into a round hole. And they're just trying to make it work, but it doesn't fit. When you look at it or start with a poetic mindset, like, okay, this is going to flow like a poem, the song comes out so much better. Every one of those songs started out as a poem, and that's why it flows so well. It because the words are not hindering the melody of the music; they're enhancing it, really.
All right, so you start with the lyrics. You start with the lyrics like a poem, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And can you already imagine the final result in your mind while you're doing it, or it's always a surprise?
Well, I'll have to admit, since I've caught back from my NDE, I've always been more connected than most. So a lot of times the melodies and the words will not necessarily be for me, but they'll be from the other side. Just to give you an example. A couple months ago, I was going, I had a hard day and I was going to go to bed, but then I get what I call a download. Okay. So a message starts coming to me and I know immediately then I have to start writing it down. So I start writing it down, and about by third verse in, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a country song. Why am I writing a country song? I like, okay, but this is what came through, and no one may never hear that song, but that's what came through, so I write it down, and then sometimes I'll have to change words, make some changes, but other than that, it's a lot of it's channeled, honestly.
I see. So you have a download. How often those happen?
Oh, every day, all the time. Yes. It's a part of being me, it's a part of being me. A lot of the psychic phenomena that I came back with died off about puberty, but being an empath and being connected like to the other side like that and getting downloads has stuck with me. It really has.
But how come you're just releasing your first album now after so many years receiving downloads? So they were not musical downloads?
Well, okay, I had to, number one, wait till I left military service, okay, because you do have free speech, okay, but you have to be careful what you say when you're wearing the uniform. So it's sort of restricted. I couldn't necessarily say what I say in that song or my writing while I still had ties to military service. So I had to wait, okay? Yeah.
I see. So there was you had to present yourself in a certain way.
Yeah, I had to wait. Yeah, for the right timing. Timing is everything, really. I mean, it's sometimes people just aren't ready and they have to accept it and wait.
I see. Okay. So was that in anyhow involved in your decision to leave the U.S. Air Force?
Actually, my decision to leave the U.S. Air Force was made for me when they made it mandatory for the COVID vaccine. I said no, thank you. So I just was forced retired. Yeah.
Good for
And then
you.
figured, okay, now it's time to do what I want to do. After 20 years of serving the American people, it's time for me now.
Yeah, man, this whole mandatory vaccine, what a circus. I still remember here in Germany, they start putting like rules and more restrictions. You can only, now we're gonna, like, after I don't know how many months or years everyone's stuck at home, they start, like, the governments are saying, now we can all go to the cinema, but only those who take the vaccine. Now we can all go to parties. But, like, of course, we're all craving social connection. We are only humans. So it was like a indirect way of forcing everyone into taking the vaccine. And that's what most people did. It's kind of...
That was the idea. That was the entire plan, is to force everyone to take it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. And, man, I don't know. So you never took the vaccine. I heard that, I don't know, but guys, we're entering conspiracy theorist territory here, but I heard that those who took it are dying younger. Have you heard any of those things?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God.
There's truth to that. There's scientific data. Yes.
There is scientific data?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Myocarditis, heart problems. Yeah. It's been documented. Just look for it. It's there. Or find people that have it. Find people that took the vaccine. You probably wouldn't have to look that far. There's a lot of them around. I know of 2 people right now that are having heart problems, unfortunately, that took it.
I'm not going to share the screen because otherwise YouTube's going to demonetize me or something. Because I remember there's also was a big thing on YouTube. If you talked about it, they would just blacklisted you. And turns out many months and years later, it was proved that wearing the mask made no difference whatsoever. Even though YouTube was like blacklisting your channel just by speculating about it. Oh my God, I'm getting nervous just talking about it. I'm getting warmed up, but what a shit show. So anyway, the decision was made for you to leave the Air Force. Man, that must have been infuriating after 20 years. Did you fight back? Did you try to talk sense into people? No,
because I knew, I trusted my gut. Okay. I knew that, it was time for me to do what I needed to do to, shall we say, fulfill that angel's mandate that told me my job is done. It's time to go now to do it.
I see. Wow. And how long ago was that?
That was back in the in 2021.
2021. Okay, so for those past few years, you've been
hard at work,
changing paths. Wow, man. Wow, good for you. That's amazing. Like, I know a lot of people who, I work in the gaming industry, right? I also develop games for a living. And they made studies that the average lifespan, that's not the right term, professional career span, I don't know the term, of those people are like 10 years. After 10 years, you're burned out or you want to change careers. That's more or less. And some people are there until they're 70 and like, are you okay? Are you happy? No, and then they know I'm miserable. And they don't have this courage. So maybe that's something that the angels helped you also with, to have this courage.
Well, I'm a big proponent of telling people to follow their hearts, but also know that the heart is treacherous. So use your heart and mind. Use your heart, find your passion, and then use your mind to figure out how to make money at it. There's a young lady that was a very good artist, but artists are a dime a dozen, unfortunately. So what she started doing was she started making portraits, going to people's houses, making portraits of their dogs. And now she's real big on Instagram doing it because she'll do it live, and she's making a lot of money, and she's followed her passion, but she used her mind to figure out how to make money at it.
That's beautiful. That's really cool. Yeah. Man, there's this woman that I recently discovered, talking about Instagram. There's this lady in Brazil. I don't know if she's like a homeless person, but she got a hold of an iPhone and Instagram, and her whole thing, I don't know if she's following her heart, Peter, but she's just go on the streets harassing people, calling people names, and people love her. She's a star now in Brazil. I don't get it. What the fuck is this? Is she following
Perhaps
her
they
heart?
love verbal abuse in Brazil.
I don't know, man, but they think it's fun, and she's making, I don't know how much she's making, but she has a lot of followers. It's crazy. I don't know. The word is a little bit crazy. So, Peter, have you ever, during any of those downloads, did you ever talk to the angels again? Did you had any type of interactions?
Oh yeah, I talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, yes, and they're the ones I believe that are giving me these downloads that I call there, because they always have been and always will be the messengers of God. So they are the ones that are transferring it to me. It's, you know, it's become a part of my life. It really has.
Do they have names?
Yes, angels have names. Whether or not they tell you their names, to them, they consider themselves to be part of a whole. Okay, so yes, they have names. Yes, they have purposes, but they won't necessarily tell you their names unless you become personal and interact with them on a daily basis. Yeah.
Those two, right? You mostly talk with the same two all the time.
With me, it's more as I'm interacting with many. Okay, so I was, in a way, it's sort of like they're standing in queue on the other side waiting to talk to me. Sometimes it gets, because I can feel the presence and it feels different. It's still, you know, I know from, you know, beneficial, it's still from the other side, but there are differences in the feelings. Some are very powerful, some are very loving, some are more erratic, but I can still feel it. Yeah.
See. So you don't see them like clearly as you're seeing me right now. It's more like a feeling. No?
Well, do you know what a Russian nesting doll is? It's a toy for children. It's one doll inside of another doll inside of another doll. And they all fit neatly inside each other. Okay. But it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Okay. You understand the concept? That's the best way I can understand how we could interact with them or how this world is next to them is we are existing in that one plane of existence in one of the dolls, but yet right next to us is where they are. And we can't see them necessarily, but we can interact with them. And they're there. They exist right next to us. I guarantee you there's angels and demons within 50 yards of you right now. You just can't see it or interact with it.
Got it. Whew. Man, that's so interesting because as far as I understand, science has proved that there are other dimensions out there, right? Dimensions that we cannot, we're not fully aware of, maybe a fourth, fifth. There, I think officially, at the moment, scientifically, there's 11 dimensions. How possible do you think those angels are maybe people from all those other beings from those other dimensions?
They are beings from the other dimensions. You know, the spiritual is another dimension.
Okay. So when we die, so the spiritual realm are spirits from our dimension that went to this realm?
Well, when you die, then your frequency, okay, you turn back to what your spirit, your soul was inside of your body, okay, and that then belongs in that other dimension, the spirit world. We call it, yeah.
So we go to the fourth dimension.
You have a soul. Everyone has a soul. Everyone has a spirit within them. Well, there are a few politicians I might question, but for the most part.
I think a lot of them, man, don't have a soul. It sucks. I'm sorry. That's extremely interesting, right? Because I don't have those downloads. I hear stories, right? As I mentioned, I had other guests who also had near-death experience, and I'm extremely interested by it. I also had guests who took ayahuasca and psychedelics, and throughout the because of the use of those substances, they said they were capable or able to get in touch with those other beings. When it comes to DMT, ayahuasca, and specifically, some of them report that those beings they have certain characteristics. Like some of them look like clowns, some of them look like praying mantis. I don't have a feeling that this is the same dimension that we're talking about right now. Is it? What do you have to say about that?
Well, you said it yourself. There's different dimensions, so they
Yeah.
might not necessarily be in the. This might be in a completely different dimension then.
And
Yeah.
we are in the most boring one then.
This is, I think of this as a proving grounds. Okay, you're going to be judged when you die. Okay, just the fact that I went through a life review, like, okay, is that not like a judgment? Because they wanted to see me show me what I did wrong or could have done better. You know, you're going to be judged. Don't think for 1 second you're not going to be judged. I often say that, you know, it's like atheists that say there's no God. They're just afraid of judgment. They hold on to that viewpoint like a small child that has a favorite doll or a favorite blanket that holds it for comfort. They hold on, that atheist holds on to that view for comfort, because if they let it go, all of a sudden, wait a minute, now I have to be judged? No, they're going to hold on to it and probably die that way. A lot of them will, unfortunately, because they don't want to be judged.
But we all will.
Mhm.
What happens if we, let's say, are judged negatively? Do we go to hell?
There is a negative place. I didn't see it when I was over there, okay, but I know it exists because I'll feel the malevolent feelings when they come close, or just evil per se when I get near it. It's the complete opposite of the good, basically,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the absence of light.
It's like the yin yang, right? I was talking with a friend of mine today how everything in the universe is like, there's this duality. There's day and there's night. There's man and there's woman. I mean, everything's a
Well,
spectrum,
if you
of
think
course.
of the yin and yang symbol,
Yeah.
the yin and yang symbol, there's the black part and the white part, is there not? You know, and it has to be in balance, and light and dark have to be in balance. So there's always going to be evil. Evil has to exist in order for good to exist.
Yeah.
You just have to, right now, you just have to choose which side you're going to follow.
Yeah. If you remember, like the Vietnam War, the whole hippie movement just came to be because of the Vietnam War. It was the balance, the perfect balance. Life always find a balance, like they balance each other out. And as soon as the war ended, like the whole hippie movement also kind of died out. It's like the duality of the universe. So if there's a heaven, there's probably some type of version of, which is the negative of heaven. Which kind of sucks to think about it, honestly. I don't want to go there. So that's what the judgment's all about. How certain, if you had to like give a percentage, how certain do you think that's actually the case? Because that's one of the fundamental questions, right? Where do we go when we die?
I'm 100% certain.
100%
110% certain. I know we were being judged. I know we will go to one of those places when we die.
Okay, man. That's very interesting. How much do you think this influenced your music? All your downloads and all your ideas that you get from those downloads and from those other realms, they're directly linked into your music. They influence your music.
I'd say 80% of all those are in my music. You know, there are times when I have to make some tweaks to it, but I still keep the same message the same. You know, same thing with my poetry and the Sigma Squad graphic novel. The story comes from the other side.
Yeah, I see. Gosh. Dude, it's amazing. You remind me of, have you heard about Chico Xavier?
No, I don't think I've heard of him.
So I think he's, don't quote me on this, guys, but I think he's Brazilian. You know what? Let's double check because I don't want to spread misinformation here. Chico Xavier. Let's see. Chico Xavier. Yeah, he's Brazilian. So the thing is, he became very famous in Brazil because he claimed he could talk to the other realm. And the way he would prove that, he would just get random people would come to him and they would ask him things about this, like the deceased or dead parent or dead brother. And they would ask questions and he would close his eyes and he would write letters. And the content of those letters would reveal things that only the dead could know about. And he did that for many, many, many years. And he became famous. And he died with, like, renowned. It was a renowned person in Brazil, like Chico Xavier, the guy who could talk with the other side. It's amazing. So when you talk to those angels, would you say those are dead people? No.
These did not used to be formerly people. No, these are above that. They're messengers. Yeah. I have seen dead people before, especially after I woke back up, I was seeing it, and those were different. The feeling from them was different. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to talk with those beings while under the influence of any substance? No.
Well, okay, let's look at it from this point of view. You understand the basic concept of a board game like Monopoly or something like that. You understand there's rules to the game, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've all played with people that tried to cheat, maybe at cards or at the, so they bent the rules a little bit. There are a lot of people out there. Now, I don't know about this gentleman. Okay, what his connections are, what he's done in the world. But there are people out there, there are psychics out there that think that they're doing good, but they're not. The people or the entities they're talking to are from the other side and trying to break the rules. Okay, so they're making them think that they're connected to God, but they aren't. Okay, and it's up to your discernment to figure that out. You're going to have to play by the rules, and going to a psychic is in a way cheating the system or bending the rules, and they want you to do that. Okay, instead of going by that inner knowing that you need to go by, on the inside, read the Bible. Okay, that's where God is. He's not in a church. He's not in four walls. He's inside of you, and your inner knowing. Okay, if the inner knowing guides you to this person, well, then maybe they are legitimate. But I would say don't seek them out on your own accord without guidance. Yeah. And question if these things start happening to you, whether or not it's malevolent or benevolent, really.
What's your religion, Peter?
I would say I was raised Roman Catholic, but when I saw the problems within the Roman Catholic or the Catholic Church itself, I stepped away from it.
So right now,
I would say I'm Christian.
You were a Christian, but right now,
I would say yes, I am a Christian.
You are
I'm
a Christian.
Follower of Christ, of Jesus Christ. Yeah,
I see. Okay. Whew, man, I gotta be honest. Our conversation went in a completely different direction I was expecting, but it's very interesting, man. Like, you're a very interesting person. Like when I saw your profile, Peter Gunn. Like, first of all, Gunn, that's a pretty cool name, Peter Gunn. Like, you do comics. You're a guitar player. You served in the Air Force. Like, this is like life goals of many people. That's amazing. And now, you received you revealed to us that you received these downloads from spirit beings from other, like, dude, there's a lot to unpack there. It's very interesting. So I'm sorry if I focus too much on the spiritual aspect, but it's extremely interesting. You must understand. Okay. You must understand that it's not common to everyone.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware on the on man out.
What's really surprised me is how open in calm you are talking about all of those things. I imagine, Peter, I imagine if I had those kind of powers, I would not. I would call them powers. Is that okay? Or how would you call
Okay.
them? I don't know. What's the?
No, that's fine.
So I would be a little bit more shy about it, but that's just because it's so different. So, but it's at the same time so interesting.
Well, I was shy about it.
Yeah.
There was a time when, like, when I was a smaller child, when I was seeing things happen before they happened. So I would tell my mother, like, we had an old family friend unannounced, and this was back in the early 80s before the internet. So you'd make a phone call, make plans, when you're having a get together. She came over unannounced, and I saw it happen a couple hours prior, and I told my mother, and she looked at me odd, like, no, she's not coming. And then all of a sudden she showed up, and I saw it, spook my mother. And then I told her, hey, Mom, you're going to slip on the ice and hurt your ankle. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. And then, of course, it happened. So when she saw these things happen, it spooked her. And I saw it actually scare her. So I throttled back as a child. I'm like, okay, maybe I should wait, with these gifts that I've been given. Maybe I should wait and then use discernment to then use them. So until I'm 100% sure that I should use, I'll be quiet about it. I won't say anything about it then. Yeah.
So
And I did for years. Most of my time in the military, I just didn't say anything about it.
So even throughout the military, you would have like episodes. I don't think episodes are right. Moments that you could maybe foresee the future a little bit.
Well, that died out when about puberty. Okay, a lot of the me seeing spirits, me seeing the future died out. Discernment and being an empath still stuck with me. So I use those as guidance.
I see. Gosh, man, that's so interesting. So during the military, because you're flying airplanes, I suppose, during yeah.
Well, what I did in the military, the best way to say is I would be considered an aircraft electricians on fighter jets. So I fixed the electrical systems.
Oh, that's dope, man. Like those crafts are insanely complicated. You had to learn how
yes, there's a lot of wiring. Yes.
And they're always coming up. How often do we come up with new models?
Oh, maybe a couple of years, really. Yeah.
So you have time to actually learn how some of them work.
Well, every aircraft comes with an entire library of wiring that you have to go through and then eventually learn. So it's quite time consuming.
Dude, that's insane. And if you miss or do like a small technical error, like there's pilots' lives on the line. I cannot even imagine the pressure that it must be. That's how does it work? Once you get like enlisted in the Air Force, do you go to a university type of?
We go through, well, first you have to make it through boot camp.
Okay.
Once you make it through boot camp, okay, then they send you to tech school. And tech school would be like the university that gives you the basics and to see if you have what it takes to do the job. And then your first duty assignment, mine was at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona. That's really where they'll see if you have what it takes to do it or not, because the schedule is based all around the flying schedule and the pilots and the needs of the Air Force. So you might be working 12-hour shifts nonstop.
Oof. You must really like it, right? 12 hours. I cannot imagine.
I would say no one likes it. It's a matter of staying focused and powering through it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Keeping a positive mindset. People tend to go so negative, but you have to keep a positive mindset to the whole thing. See the good. It's always there if you look for it.
And you get in the flow as well. So do you work with other mechanics, or is just each one of you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how many mechanics are responsible for one aircraft?
Well, with the specialist ranks like myself is in, it depends on who's on shift. and then they'll disperse them accordingly to how fast they need the aircraft repaired and what's wrong with it, because some will require heavy maintenance, might take a week, and others might be a quick fix. So they have people in positions called an expediter that will then put people in certain jobs and accommodate the schedule that way.
I see. Gosh, man, this is so interesting. What made you lean towards the U.S. Air Force instead of military or the Marines?
Well, I knew you had to score higher in the ASVAB, which is like an aptitude test or IQ test, I guess you could say. So I knew it would be more towards my liking because I could get into more technical careers versus like the Army or the Marine Corps where you don't have to score as high. And I initially just dipped my toe into the kiddie pool, so to speak. I went into the Air National Guard, and then I saw that I liked it. I actually loved it. Boot camp was fun for me, as odd as that might sound for people. But it was like a vacation. And then I decided to go active duty for a while, and then I finished out in the reserves. But I don't regret anything. It made me into the man I am today, really.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's a hell of a story. I know that a couple of years ago, the military came up with this space, how it's called again?
Space Force.
Space Force. What's up with all of that? Is this even real? It's like it's
real. It's a real branch of the military. Yes, it's legitimate.
What is there like? Me from as an outsider, I thought it was a joke at first. It was like, no, it's like they are serious about it. So what they're doing, they're protecting Earth against aliens?
No. Basically, they're dealing with satellites and rockets.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, and satellites and rockets is mainly what they're dealing with. Yeah.
But would you say that satellites and rockets are such a threat that the U.S. needs a whole new branch of the military?
Yes,
yeah?
Because it's such a specialized career fields that they have that it's hard enough to find people for it. So when you do, you put them in there, try to keep them there in that position as long as possible. Yeah. I know I think this year with Trump in, they actually met their recruiting goals, but in past years, they've had a lot of trouble getting people to not only join, but then to finish boot camp, because a lot of today's youth aren't encouraged to work out or exercise. So they might have the mental power, and be able to do the job, but they can't do a push-up.
Yeah, and we know for certainty that physical exercise somehow transfer to mental capacity. Like people who do hard things physically, they're capable of doing harder things in life in general. That's proven.
Well, because of focus.
Yeah.
Because of focus. Yeah.
What's your take on the whole renaming of the Department of Defense to the Department of War?
I do really, since I've gotten out, I haven't paid that much attention to it. I assume there would be a rationale behind it, but I'm going to take a wait and see stance and see what happens.
Sounds fair. sounds healthy. All right, Peter. Thank you so much, man. Like, you're such an interesting guest. I think we covered a lot. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Yes. If you want to go to my website and check out some of my books, it's www.petergunn.net. And if you want to listen to the album, the Angellics, you could just type into your favorite music browser, the Hazing Hades, Hazing, Hades, Hades, and that's the title of our album, and you'll be able to find it there.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, man. I do have one last question, though. Would you recommend everyone tapping into their psychic powers, and what would you say if they want to, what they could do in order to enhance them?
I would say pray. First. Okay. Pray first. It's not everyone's cards, and be willing to accept the cards that you were dealt. Okay. You were put on here for a reason, but be willing to accept that reason. Okay, not everyone's going to be that big bright star on the movie screen. Okay, not everyone's destined to do that. So don't necessarily get mad when that doesn't happen. Be willing to accept your place and do what God needs.
Beautiful. All right, man, let's end it there. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Brew.
All right, everyone, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rank the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast is recommended to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. Check out now the Brewcast store, Explore store, filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with Brewcast. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Buy now at brew-cast.com/store. Again, that's brew-cast.com/store. Link on the description below. Be a Brewcast model and get free stuff. We'd love to see how you and your loved ones enjoy Brewcast. Snap a picture of yourself, your family, your friends, or even your pets wearing Brewcast merch, or watching an episode of the show and send it to us and become part of Brewcast. We'll feature you and your pictures at the end of every episode, just like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. You can upload your pictures at brew-cast.com/contact or tag us on social media. Alright everyone, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye bye.